Mike Rossi joins us now, and I've known Mike for many years, and he's been on the show before. The one thing I have no idea about you is how you got into harness racing, so I want to hear that story first.
All right, well, I was 7 years old, and my dad owned a car wash downtown in Dover, and my birthday was coming up, and we were out on 13, and there used to be a horse farm out there called Rudnick's. And we were riding by there was a little brown and white pony out there in the field, and he asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, that pony. And we lived in apartments at that time, and he said, like, you can't have the pony. We live in apartments. And I said, well, they don't ask me what I want then. So it went on for 2 weeks, and I kept giving him the same answer, and finally he went up to Rudnick's, and he ran into Ronnie Millman and Bobby Shahan and Mr. Thorpe, and I think Jimmy King was there too at the time, I think, and he ended up buying the pony and getting a racehorse.
Oh my God! So he got into harness racing because you wanted that pony. That's a great story. That's a great story. And then, so of course, you start probably working at the barn, and you become a driver, and you ended up being a driving champion here at Dover Downs. I think a couple different seasons, 91 to 93, right?
Yeah, there was I think 2 years here at Dover, and then 2 years at Harrington. Me and Eddie Dennis were head to head for like 4 years. He'd be first, I'd be second, and I was first, and he was second.
So then you were out of racing for, I think, a good stretch there, maybe about 10 years. So, like, why were you out? How come you weren't driving during that time?
Well, at first I had financial responsibilities, and I was suspended for that. And then I fell into a bad case of alcoholism, and that took its toll on me, and I went on for, well, like you said, 10 years before I finally had to hit bottom and realized that, it's either straighten up or die. And I had great support with my family and other people that knew me from the horse business. And I went to the detox center and stayed there, and then everything's just been going good ever since then. I'm working on I got 3 years now, working on 4. So, and just, I don't know what to say after that.
Well, no, you said enough. I'm just sitting here, like, looking at you and, like, thinking what an amazing story this is, because really, I always believe that if you make a choice that may not be so great in the past, if you're learning from it, that just makes you that much of a better person. And, I look at you and I'm like, what an inspiration. It's like you didn't have to get better. You didn't have to decide that you wanted to start driving horses again or just live. But you made that choice to do it. That's a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is, make a short end short. I mean, this is, it's been a long road, and there's a lot of things that happened. And the one thing about is remembering the past, what got me there and what's happening now in the present. You always got to have that replay back there. So, when things will start looking rough, you just play that tape back, look where you're at now, and that keeps you right focused to keep going forward. And that's where I'm going now.
I know one of the things that is extremely important is having a great support system. And I know, I believe Joe McDonald was the first person that gave you a job when you wanted to get back in. Is that right?
Well, Joe gave me my first drive when I had several jobs with harness. So I worked for Tim Chrisman and with Joe McDonald and his wife Linda. And Joe gave me my first qualifying drive. I had to make 4 qualifying drives to make sure I didn't forget what I was doing before, which was cool. It did help. So that's no problem. So Joe gave me my first one. I made 4 drives and then started from there.
So how does it feel to be back? You're winning races now. You must just be so happy. I can't imagine, being back in the bike, how great it is.
Words can't explain it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like I say, to be down so far down and to where there was no good to come out of nothing, and to be back here is just a blessing from God. I mean, I just can't describe it. I'm not on the outside looking in, and that's a big difference. That's a hell of a way to be. Whether I finish last, it don't matter. Just having a chance to be out there.
Mike, thank you so much for being on the show and telling your story. I appreciate it so much.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
In here, number 2, Ideal Revenue, has Mike Rossi in the sulky. The 4, Lock Tight, goes behind the gate for trainer Jason Fizzle. And number 5, Jailhouse Juice, took home 2 seconds and a win in his last 3 starts.
They're off from the inside. There goes Amiga Valley out for the lead from the far outside. 6 Gun Hall leaves. They race into the first turn between horses. That's Jailhouse Juice. G. Wally has the rail. Getting away in 5th is Lock Tight behind Lock Tight. That's Ideal Revenue. Mackenzie Star and Niper is at the end. They race around the turn 3 wide is 6 Gun Hall. Trying to get around Jailhouse Juice, who wants to get around Amiga Valley and does. 27 2/5, and 6 Gun Hall on the outside up after the lead. Jailhouse Juice is back to second, Amiga Valley third. 2 lengths to G. Wally. Next is Lock Tight in 5th, racing 6th, Ideal Revenue. Trailing are Mackenzie Star and Niper. They go into the clubhouse turn. It's 6 Gun Hall, but Jailhouse Juice moves to the outside as they approach the half. Jailhouse Juice up to get the lead. 6 Gun Hall holds the rail right now, rushing up quickly. Here comes a move by Lock Tight. 56 4 on their way to the backstretch. Jailhouse Juice now on top. Lock Tight on the outside. 6 Gun Hall back to third along the inside. Following in 4th. That's Ideal Revenue. They're midway up the backstretch. Jailhouse Juice just ahead over Lock Tight. Then it's 6 Gun Hall. Ideal Revenue's alongside. Following outside in 5th is Mackenzie Star. They go by 3/4 in 126 flat. They race midway on the final turn, and from the outside, Lock Tight up to get a short lead off stride went Mackenzie Star. They come toward the top of the stretch, Lock Tight and Jailhouse Juice. Ideal Revenue there third. Another 2 lengths back, racing in 4th is Niper. They're at the top of the stretch, and it's Lock Tight, but here comes Ideal Revenue on the outside. Ideal Revenue from the outside up to draw away late. Jailhouse Juice and Lock Tight, 155.
Ideal Revenue, owned by Carolyn James Atkinson, who's also the trainer, wins in 155 and pays $109.20 for a $2 wager. In the driver's seat was Mike Rossi, who later on during this same card won another race at long shot odds of over 20 to 1. Congrats on a big night, Mike.